So today I've got Darrin Barney, President and CEO of Elite Worldwide, the company that I use for my 20 group process, Pro Service, and also the owner of the company that I use for my one-on-one coaching that you may have listened to some of those calls with Matt Lofton for my smallest store. We recorded this episode at Vision KC 2025, had a lot of fun with Darrin, and I think you'll enjoy getting to know him a little better and see what really drives him and what's his heart for this industry. I hope you enjoy it.
The following program features a bunch of doofuses talking about the automotive aftermarket. The stuff we, or our guests may say, do not necessarily reflect the beliefs of our peers, our sponsors, or any other associations we may have. There may be some spicy language in this show, so if you get your feelings hurt easily, you should probably just move along. So without further ado, it's time for Confessions of a Shop Owner, with your host, Mike Allen.
I'm very lucky. I'm in a very affluent area with not a super high level of competition. So don't come to Raleigh, North Carolina. Stay away. But you got these guys who are in hyper-competitive markets,
right?
Bragging about their $290 labor rate or whatever it is. And then at the same time, the next day they're posting in the same groups about how car count's dead. So without introduction, tell me your policy on your thoughts on discounting.
So I'm not a big fan of discounting. I hate it. I mean, we could spend a lot of time coming from a guy that has ruined his customers because I didn't know, right? So for years, what did I do? I discounted. And now to this day, I haven't been in the shop in the front counter for years, and I still have people that contact me that are like, hey, you're going to give me I just ordered some axles. Can you look at the price, make sure it's good?
So if you are a non-discounting, value-oriented quality shop, which is a very real model that works very well for a lot of people, and you want to stay away from the coupons or the haggling on price and all that, which I totally get. If you're like me, you know there's always hidden revenue in missed maintenance sales or overlooked customer concerns. Detect Auto helps auto shops unlock that revenue by analyzing vehicle service histories, pinpointing maintenance recommendations, and equipping advisors to confidently address customer questions. It's easy. It integrates with your existing software, and your team will love it. Check out detectauto.com and see how your shop can stop guessing and start selling better service recommendations today. And car count drops off a cliff. What's the magic bullet other than the things we just talked about?
Well, there's two different types of discounting. I'm talking about selling from your wallet. That's the discounting I was talking about. Discounting, heck, if you want to do deals, heck yeah. Why not? Yeah, of course. You gotta do what you got to do, get customers in the door, right?
So it's cost of customer acquisition, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So you're either going to pay it an enormous marketing cost to build value, brand, and that kind of thing, or you're going to do it with less marketing costs but more discounts. So I've always been kind of a discount model guy myself because, as my friends will say, or as my good friend Dutch Silverstein would say, Steen. Is it Stein or Steen?
I think it's Steen.
Okay. Braxton says it's Steen, so I'm going to call you Stein, Dutch. But I lost my train of thought talking about Dutch, and he does that to me. So
talking about discounting, you know?
Yeah. Well, I apologize. I just was totally thrown off. We were pressing the record button. I got that message from Brian, and I just wanted to talk about it. But Darrin Barney, President and CEO of Elite Worldwide, welcome to Confessions of a Shop Owner. How's it going, man?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Thank you, Mike. Glad to be here.
And we're at Vision KC 2025. It is Saturday morning, early.
It is.
The expo floor is asleep still. It's not open yet. We're here very early. But Darrin, I think you get up at like 4:30 every day anyway, right?
Yeah, today was 3:30, but yeah. Time change, you know?
What do you do? You've been up for 4 hours now. What do you do?
Oh, man. Holy cow. Do you really want to know?
Well, maybe. I don't know.
Well, you know, sometimes I like to walk around, with my pants off and down the hallways and stuff. It's a good time.
Well, I mean, 3:30 in the morning is the time to do
exactly.
that.
Yeah, nobody's out. No. I have a good morning routine I love doing. But the biggest thing is getting out and going for a walk, getting the blood going.
So are you an exerciser?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I posted the other day, it was like, give me a thumbs up if you're like at conventions, you're the guy who's at the gym at 6 a.m., or I think I did like the smiley face if you're the guy who's at the bar at 6 p.m. And I think you probably know which one of those two emojis I am.
Yeah.
So, but I was pleasantly surprised to see how many people ask what the emoji was to be both.
Right.
And that's probably something that I should investigate a little bit, because if I'm going to continue my 6 p.m. antics, I probably need to pick up some 6 a.m. habits.
Yeah.
At this point in my life.
We're all wired different, you know? I mean, you think about the Beatles, right? They had their most productive times from like 11 at night until 4 or 5 in the morning.
Really?
And that's recorded most of their really good albums, good hits, everything, all that stuff was recorded late at night.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. It was just their productive time, so.
Well, I know that they became expert practitioners by playing every night at bars in Amsterdam for like years, right?
Yeah. Hamburg, yeah.
Yeah, or Hamburg, okay.
Yeah.
There, you would know that.
Yeah.
So they have thousands of hours of intentional practice before they ever made it. So
Of course.
That
What's
was
the 10,000 hour rule, you know?
Yeah, I would say that was from Outliers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a long time since.
I just finished the new one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that It's not Gladwell. Maxwell? Who wrote Outliers?
Gladwell. Yeah, it's Gladwell. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's Revenge of the Tipping Point's the brand new one he just did.
Okay.
Very
I did hear an
interesting.
interview with him recently where he was talking about how some of the assumptions that he made were wrong in the first one, and how he feels like he did material damage to policing policy in the 80s and 90s based off of some of the stuff that he wrote. I don't remember exactly what the concept was, but
Yeah. Well, it's just one of those things you learn as you go.
yeah. So Lord knows I make plenty of mistakes. That's
part of life, right?
That's the whole premise of this show, is me talking about what an idiot I am. So
The thing is, though, is that when to grow, you got to take chances. When you take chances, you fail. It's part of life.
yeah,
You got to keep
absolutely.
going. I mean,
Tell me a little bit about, just give me a few minutes about your history and your progression from shop owner to client to owner of Elite.
yeah. Okay. So starts like years ago, like when we all turned 16, got our Eagle Scout Award. Dad bought us all Jeeps. So that started everything. Okay. Then we just continued to grow, and to keep a Jeep going, you had to work on it, and learned a lot about them. And so we continued to do that. And then my brother and I started a shop 23 years ago, and grew that, did really well, but didn't know anything about making money. And so we hired Elite to help us, and Elite really came in and helped us to dial the processes and procedures and pay attention to books and numbers and all those things. And then Bob asked me to coach, so I started coaching with Elite, and did really well with some clients. And then they gave me the master's program, and then he came to me a couple years after that and asked me if I was interested in buying the company.
I remember when it was announced, was it 3 years ago now, at the annual
2 years.
conference in San Diego?
Yeah.
Okay.
Too.
It was shocking.
Oh, yeah.
Because, I mean, he'd done a very good job of keeping it on the down low before it came out. But I'm really excited about the direction that you're taking Elite.
Thank you.
And kind of the energy that you've pumped into it with some of the team that you brought on, and the style that you're bringing to it. So the Ignite event in Dallas was awesome.
Good.
It was the
Glad you
best
enjoyed
Elite
it.
event I've been to in a long time. And, you know, I'm an advocate for Elite already. I have been. So were you a one-on-one coaching client or a pro service coaching client?
One-on-one.
Or- Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And how long were you with him in that capacity?
Goodness, I was still there up until a year ago. So I was
Okay.
still getting coaching even after I bought the company.
Hey there. I'm going to tell you about something that has completely transformed how I run my shop, TechMetric. As a 20-year shop owner, outdated systems used to slow us down. Everything was clunky, from check-in to estimate building to customer updates. It all felt just super inefficient. Switching to TechMetric has changed everything. With TechMetric, you get a powerful shop management system that includes DVI, quick and easy estimate building, inventory management, real-time reporting, amazing customer communication, and it's really easy for your employees to learn how to use the software. I'm talking like a one-day learning curve. On top of that, TechMetric has tons of other tools to make you an even better operator. Stuff like integrated payments with buy now, pay later options is a huge asset. Ask me how I know. And recently, they've added a CRM component with their partnership with Shop Genie, which I'm a happy Shop Genie customer already, so I'm super excited about that. Now, obviously, there are a lot of factors at play here, but I want to give you some facts about my business since I made the change to TechMetric. In September of 2020, when I switched to TechMetric, my ARO was $293. In September of 2024, we were $916. That's over 300% growth. Now, I'm not saying that TechMetric created all of that change, but I'm 100% saying that I couldn't have come this far without TechMetric. It's a key factor in our growth and success. If you're ready to level up your shop, TechMetric has everything you need: productivity, revenue, customer experience. Measure up by every measure with TechMetric. Tap the link in the show notes to learn more.
Because I have my team still working with Coach to make sure that things are growing and improving like they should. I mean, the best people in the world have coaches.
So who runs the shop now?
My Ginger and my brother. So
Okay.
Ginger's my wife,
Okay.
you know, and then my brother Chad. So yeah, and we have a manager too, but those two are the ones that kind of oversee everything. And
So do they have a coach?
oh yeah,
Currently?
well, not at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
You know, I got this guy Matt Lofton who does a really good job for me. So I mean,
Isn't he incredible?
He is.
Yeah.
So for those of you that don't know, you haven't been listening to every episode if you don't know this, but I've been with Elite in their 20 group process, pro service, for my entire adult life because my dad was with them when I came back to the family business. So I remember going to 20 group meetings with my current facilitator when I was 13 years old because I would just tag along with Dad. And for the last several months now, I've been with Director of Coaching Matt Lofton, experiencing the 180 program, which is one coaching call a month with some accountability and some very clear goals each month set. And you also have the 360 program, which is one coaching call a week, right?
Yeah.
So we're doing my small shop, my 3-bay shop for the 180 program because I think it's kind of a good avatar of what a lot of early in the progression shops might look like.
Yeah.
And it's kind of the classic A-frame shell station that's on the corner of every downtown in America from the 50s to the 90s, you know?
Yeah.
And so the gas pumps are out and dirt square in the parking lot where they dug out the tanks and had the sinkhole they had to fill in and all that.
Oh yeah.
So, but he's making me better immediately. And good. I kind of am a little bit of a creature of ego. I think I'm pretty awesome. Just ask me and I'll tell you.
Right.
But he gave me a list in Dallas of like 6 things I needed to do, and I got 4 of them done, and I was ready to pat myself on the back, and we recorded last week for the next call, and he did not pat me on the back. Like, he gave me some kudos for the things I had done, but he gave me some accountability for not doing the things I hadn't done, which I probably need if I'm going to
Especially in a month, bud. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's other stuff going on in the world, Darrin. Come on.
No, there's not. It's growing your business right now, bud. Yeah.
So your shops are singular or multiple?
Single.
Single is an off-road specialty shop. Is that right?
Yeah. Yep.
So are you building like rock climbers or like swamp buggies or what?
We feed the male ego.
Nice.
So yeah. So if you have your Toyota Tundra and you want to make it look different, we can level it up. We can lift it. We can do superchargers. We can do whatever you want to do.
So if I've got like little guy complex, because
Yeah.
you can go make me feel like a big man. Of
course.
Super.
Yeah. It's not just about the little man to big man. It's just about you want to be different, right?
So I know that the Jeep world is hyper customized, right?
Oh yeah.
Are you mostly Jeeps or is it?
Yeah,
everything?
mostly Jeeps.
Okay.
But
All
we
right.
do everything. We really do.
Do you do custom build like off-road rigs, literally just like tube frame up?
Not as much as we used to. There's not much money in it.
Okay.
It's really hard because you got to bill. It's hard to make your time up on fabrication. You know, you quoted it 4 hours and it takes you 8. And what do you do?
How many people are going to come to you and bring you a $50,000 check to start and say, I'll call you if I need another check?
Yeah.
There's not a lot of clients
No,
like
there's
that.
not.
Yeah. So do you do regular maintenance and repair, like keeping mom's minivan up and running too?
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
How big is the shop?
Well, we've got 6 techs.
Okay.
So yeah.
So are you squeezed into 6 bays or you got like 50,000 square feet?
We're right at 6 bays.
Okay.
So
All
yeah,
right. So
one tech
you're-
per bay. I mean,
okay.
we actually have 7, and there's one that floats for bigger projects.
Oh wow! So
yeah.
there's no leaving a car hanging on a lift.
No,
it's
not at
like
all.
you finish your diag and figure out a way to get it back out in the parking lot.
Yeah.
You
We're talking
have
about adding on to the end of the building, but yeah.
You have plenty of parking capacity, or
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah, I
you
got
can
lots
have a
of
car
room.
sitting in the bay in the parking lot for a
Yeah,
couple
no big
days.
deal at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
What does that look like in the custom world? Like maintaining quality on aftermarket part supply, like upgrading part, because I would think there's some pretty poor quality off-road stuff out there. How do you differentiate?
That's where a lot of it comes from experience,
Okay.
and you know what kits to do on a vehicle and what not to do, and a lot of it just comes from just doing it. You know, so
How do you educate and turn away the budget guy who wants to do the thing that's going to be a mistake that you know is going to come back angry because his truck's falling apart because he used cheap junk?
A lot of times just education.
Okay.
You know, there's a reason why that kit is so much cheaper than this other one over here.
Yeah.
And you go and you talk about the details and talk about why it is. And most of the time you can educate them and hey, save your money and do it right the first time. You won't be back here fixing other stuff.
So if they insist upon going the cheapo route, do you say, well, here's a shop that can do that for you? Or do you say, well, sign this saying that you know it's going to fall apart? Or do you just say, no, thank you?
It depends on what it is.
Okay.
Honestly, it's one of those things case by case because I've been there. We've all been there when you don't have the money to do something yet you really want to. And that's part of a lot of our clientele. You know, it's the guys that just turned 16 and they inherited a Jeep Cherokee from dad. They want to bring it in and have us work on it. So sometimes we will do it. It depends on what it is. If it's a safety thing, then no, we won't do it. But if it's something that, you know, you're doing a winch pumper and you want to use one that's a little bit lighter weight, we talk to them. It's like, well, keep in mind, it probably will bend, but is it going to be a safety concern? When they're winching, probably not. It's just going to bend and tweak and just have that conversation right up front.
Yeah.
So,
and you, where's the shop again? It's
Grand Junction, Colorado.
Okay. So there's a lot of off-roading to be had around there, right?
Oh,
So
yeah.
I do want to go back real quickly. You said, I turned 16. I got my Eagle Scout. Dad got us a Jeep. We had to learn how to work on it.
Yeah.
And that was the case for yourself and your brother.
Oh, yeah. There's 3 brothers, yes.
At 3. Okay. Yeah. So that's pretty straight up Americana right there.
Oh, yeah.
We all are Eagle Scouts. We all got Jeeps when we turned 16, and we all learned how to work on them so that we could off-road and tear them up and put them back together. That's
Well, just
awesome.
to drive them. You know, the mid-70s Jeeps were just piles. I mean, just they were, you know, I mean, always broken. And so you had to learn how to fix them. AMC is any motor, you know, any motor company. So, I mean, there's stuff from, anyway. Yeah, it took a lot of working to figure things out.
Okay. So how long were y'all in business before you decided to start seeking out coaching?
17 years.
Okay, and what made you decide to do that?
So, yeah, you've heard this story. I mean, we were busy. We were 2 months out. My dad had cancer, and my brother had went home to be with mom and dad, and there was the 3 brothers working there at that time. And he called, and he's like, you guys need to come home. Dad's not doing well. And we're like, oh, no, we're good. You know, we're 2 months out, all that stuff. And he's like, no, you really need to come home. And we're like, okay, well, we'll keep going. We'll come over this weekend. This was on a Wednesday. We'll come home, you know, we'll go over on the weekend. He called like 4 times that day. And finally at 4:30, he's like, seriously, guys, please come home. So, sorry, I get kind of emotional about it. So we piled up in this old 88 Honda Accord we had. It was a 5-hour drive. My younger brother and I, and we drove over there, got there at 11:30 at night, and he died at midnight. And it was one of those things that I got home, but only had that half hour with him, and it made me really start questioning things. Because we love what we do, right? I mean, we got there at 7 in the morning, worked till 11 o'clock at night, and it's great, and you love it. But in the end, I mean, we didn't have any free time. Almost missed my dad dying. So it made me like start internal searching, and then that's when I'd seen Bob back in '98, and he taught a service advisor class, and something he said, the whole class really resonated with me.
Look, here's the deal. I like to think that I'm pretty good at running an auto repair shop. It's what I've done for 20 plus years, but I'm not good at managing a marketing budget and all the different facets of a truly well-rounded marketing plan. There's mail, there's local advertising, there's website, there's Google AdWords, there's, you know, all the different things that go into that. And it's just not what I'm good at. So what I've chosen to do is to buy myself the time to focus on what I am good at while having someone else execute on all of those things at a way higher level than anything I could ever do. That's what turnkey auto marketing does for me. So if you feel like you could use some of that same magic, I'm going to recommend that you go to turnkeyautomarketing.com, get a free consultation, tell them that I sent you, tell them that Confessions of a Shop Owner sent you. You won't be disappointed.
And I went home one of those nights, and Ginger and I were dating at the time, and I went over there for dinner, and I like after the class, and I'm like, I want to work for him someday. He really, you know, he just inspired me. Mm-hmm. So that came back to me when I was looking for a coach and what to do next, and I was like, you know, I'm going to just check out Bob, and I found Elite, and yeah.
So, never any testing the waters anywhere else. So it was just straight into Elite. And
I'd already been sold on what Bob had said. I'd sat through one of his 3-day classes, and it had really spoken to me. And it was just supposed to be. It was in November of 2017. November of 2016, we started in, 2017. So,
you said one of his 3-day classes. I sat through several Cooper classes over the years as a young man, and then when I came back to the family business in 2001 still. Y'all have multiple different multi-day courses and multi-month courses also. So you have coaching, you have 20 groups, but you also have training events. Can you just take a minute and tell me? I'm just going to kind of go through them about the master's course.
Yeah, of course. Master's it's a 6-month service advisor course where we go in and we really go and change behavior. We teach them about how to really take care of customers. It's not a turn and burn, get them in the door, out as quickly as possible. It's more about building relationships. So
and that's 3 days in person and then weekly calls for 6 months thereafter.
Yeah.
There's a midterm, there's a final exam, there's peer group accountability because you get paired off with small groups of people that you went to class with for homework assignments.
Yep.
It requires a manager or an owner in place who's going to be active in helping that because they're going to be off the counter for an hour, hour and a half once a week.
1 hour
class.
a week, yep.
And you can't sail through. It is possible to fail out of that class.
Yes, it is.
I've sent probably 5 now over the years to the master's program.
Right.
And it's also not cheap, but rarely is good cheap. It has always resulted in an immediate bump in ARO. And if they stay engaged throughout the 6 months, there is no it's not like it plateaus and falls off. It's just a new normal. Yeah. And so it's an immediate investment return, has been my experience. I'm interested to send someone else now because there's been a little bit of a changing of the guard. And I was talking to Matt about it the other day. He said, man, it is just fire how she's doing in the class. And so the instructor's name is? Sabrina, okay. Yeah. And she's like 5'0" nothing.
Yeah. She's
and
awesome.
She's just dominating this room full of big, bald, bearded dude service advisors, right? Yeah. It's the avatar that we are now, right? So,
well, the thing is that the 3 days I still do.
Oh, so
I still do the 3 days with Sabrina.
Okay.
And it's like, I love it. I've been teaching it for years now.
Okay.
And that's why we keep growing it and improving it because I've been doing it for so long. And it's like, well, wait a minute here. Why are we doing this? All of a sudden, recently within the last year, we've been doing now technician efficiency and how to help the advisor actually schedule for your technician strengths. Because how many of us didn't know that, right? It took forever to learn that if you give a guy that's good with ringing pinions, you give him those, he's going to make you more money, right? And so as an advisor actually knows the technician's strengths and helps him to schedule for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
so that's the master's program, and that's to help your service advisors.
Yep.
And you have a owner or manager course. It's also a 3-day course.
Yeah.
Fly with the Eagles, and that's taught by you and Darrin or Matt.
No, that's Joe Marconi.
Joe and Matt.
Yeah, Matt and Tom. Yeah, the 3 of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so these classes, that's a 3-day course with financial management, marketing, hiring, recruiting, benefit, building a benefit plan, how to build estimates appropriately, kind of soups to nuts type deal, right?
Lots of good stuff, yeah.
And you do each of those 3 or 4 times a year in different cities around the country, is that right?
Correct.
So you just did master's program in Atlanta last week.
Yep.
When is the next master's program? Do you know?
That one's the end of May in Denver.
Okay, in Denver. So that'll be an easy one for you guys because it won't be too far.
Yeah.
And when's the next Eagles?
Next Eagles in June.
Okay. And where's that one going to be?
Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Okay, so the guy who runs 2 of my 3 stores went to the Eagles program in Raleigh last year, and it's been great. Yeah,
Good.
He was a longtime dealership service manager guy, so they have a certain perspective that is valuable but different.
Yeah, of course.
And so getting him a little exposure to that was awesome. So,
yeah. It's just different ways of seeing things.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've all been hearing the same stuff forever, but it's just being reminded of the things that you need to be doing. Or to some people, it's the first time you hear it.
So am I missing anything? You've got the service advisor program, you've got the manager owner program, you've got once a month and once a week one-on-one coaching, you've got the 20 group.
Yeah.
I know that there's a tire specific 20 group, but is that group full?
Yeah.
And it's only open to that brand, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Point S.
Yeah. In the 20 groups, there are 8 or 9 of them.
Yeah, it just depends
how many
on
packs?
Yeah. We're working through updating a lot of that
Okay.
to make it newer and relevant. We've been doing it the same way for 20 years, and it's time to.
Everything has to grow and evolve, right?
Yeah, of course.
But I will say that my very best friends in the world in the automotive space are all from this group.
Right.
And my dad told me this back in 2001, and I didn't get it at the time, but he said, there are only a few people in the world that I can call and say, I need $100,000, and they'll send it to me without asking questions.
Right.
And they're all from this group. And so That is absolutely the case right now.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Just to have those resources, though.
Well, and to know that they have faith in me and they trust me and that I would do the same for them it's pretty awesome. And
it's not just about the
relationship-
money, though. It's about, I mean, we hear the stories all the time, and I've known guys that someone's struggling, so everybody will fly out there from the group and go and just spend some time with them to just help them out, to help them dial in on whatever they're working through.
So I was, last year I was in a hot mess. I'd take my eye off the ball and things were kind of running sideways a little bit. And I hadn't told the guys, right? We have a group text. We talk every day, constantly. But I hadn't told them that we were struggling. And I went down to Houston. It was at Harrison's meeting.
Yeah.
And we talked a little bit privately. And he called me the next day after I got home and he said, hey, don't ever do that again. And if you do that again, I'm going to fly to North Carolina and beat your ass. So you have to tell us if things are hard so that we can help.
Yeah.
If you don't communicate, it doesn't work. So that's the kind of love and accountability that you get from having a peer group like that. So thank you for facilitating that.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Do you have like a vision for where Elite is going? Like what does Elite look like in 2030?
I mean, we can continue to grow and help out the automotive industry. I mean, the goal is to be able to help those guys like myself that didn't know anything about coaching or anything, and I struggled for all those years, and yet we didn't know. So I want to be able to help all those people that aren't at Vision, that aren't at any of the training expos, and help them to grow and get where they need to be. So that's where I want to go there, and I want to continue to help elevate the guys like yourself that have been doing this for a while, that are already dialed in, that have things going, and continue bringing new content and help them up to that next level. So that's the long-term vision, is just we want to continue to grow and do it the right way.
I know that you're here at Vision, and you're all teaching classes this year?
Oh, yeah. Teach later today, yeah.
All right, super. Are you doing the 4 pillars, or which class are you doing?
No, this is Get Out of the Grind, shop owner job description.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's a real struggle.
Well, we're going to talk about, my favorite part about this is that I'm going to be talking to them about their legacy. What are they leaving behind? What are you going to leave behind? What are you going to leave behind, Mike?
Okay, I could have been really obnoxious there. I'm not going to do that.
No, that's the truth, though. We're so busy chasing after these things, but have we really thought about when we die, what do we want our kids to think about us?
Yeah.
What about the neighbors and the people in your community? What do you want them to say? What do you want the industry to say about you when you die? That's what I'm going to be spending a lot of my time today talking about, because I never thought that. I knew I wanted to take care of customers. And to this day, I have customers around the world. I have some very famous people that are customers, right? Because when we first started, it's like we're going to do everything we could to take care of customers. And my brother and I talked and joked about it. We wanted to be known around the world for taking care of Jeeps and fixing them, And that was just us when we were talking about what we wanted to do. But that was not serious. It was serious for us, but I didn't plan it out.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm encouraging people to do today, is like really think about, what do you want to be known for? What does Mike want to be known for when you die?
I have no clue.
Right? Well,
what does Darrin want to be known for?
I just want to be known that I help people. That's why I'm here upon the earth, to help people get what they want out of life. It's my job. And I really believe that. And it's something that I want to be able to. So my dad's funeral, right? When he died, he was one of my best friends. I talked to him every day. And when he died, it hurt. I get kind of emotional about it, but it was like one of those things that was really, it hurt. And I stood for 2 hours after his funeral, and people came and talked to us for 2 hours before we could go to the burial, because people wanted to tell us about how much my dad meant to them. And I told myself, it's like, you know what? When I die, I want that same thing. I want people to say that I made a difference. I want my kids to hear that I actually made a difference. I touched them and I helped them in some way. People that, my dad's stuff was like, yeah, your dad was my scout leader, 20 years ago, and he helped me just believe in myself, and just hearing this stuff. And I was like, man, I want to be that someday, where I make a difference. People are like, he was a good guy. He helped me do this or whatever. So that's me. I just want to be able to help make a difference. That's why I love doing the master's class so much. Honestly, that's why I still do it. So.
Darrin, you're making me feel bad about myself, and you're making me feel like I'm very vain and shallow, because I don't ever think in terms of...
But why would you? We're so busy thinking about, the next thing, right? But we got to start with the end in mind. Stephen Covey, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, right? It's in there. It's like, what do you want people to say at your funeral? Think about it. And just really, still can enjoy life and do all the stuff you're doing now, but really, what are we doing to make a bigger difference down the road? Oh, I made billions of dollars. Well, good for you. Good. That's great.
Well, what do you do with the billions?
Yeah. What are you doing to make a difference to actually help people? And that's the thing, is that, we get paid by the value we add to the world, and I really believe that. But at the end of the day, it's about helping people. You know, I did all these studies, and I mean, I've studied so many successful people, and they all say the same thing. It's like, you know, if I could go back in time and live my life over again, what would you do different? It's like, well, I would spend more time with my family. I would do more things to help people. That's what majority of them have all said. And so you think about that, right? And it's like, I mean, granted, these are people that were extremely wealthy when they passed away, but it's like there's something to that where you got to take care of people. At the end of the day, it's what matters.
I think there is a symptom of society that those that don't have financial success strive for financial success, and those who do, and money is no longer a concern, they think about those other things. I wish I'd have spent more time, you know, traveling or, you know, with my kids or whatever else. And it's true. No tombstone says I wish I had spent more time at work, right?
Right.
But I want to do really awesome stuff with my kids, and that's all. It's not all of it's expensive, but a lot of it's really expensive.
Well, but is it though? I mean, okay, so you posted something about playing Monopoly. You've done it a couple times, right?
Yeah.
Do you think that they're going to remember that memory of playing Monopoly with Dad?
Oh, the emotional trauma? Absolutely.
No, but the thing is that you made it fun.
Yeah.
That's what the post was about. It was about, they were upset, but they had fun doing it.
Yeah.
They're going to do that with their kids.
Yeah.
That's what they're going to remember. Yes, the great trips and going on cruises and whatever it is that you like to do, that's great. But it's those core memories of just playing around with Dad, spending time with Dad. That's what's important.
How old are your kids?
I've got 8-year-olds, 16 and 18.
Okay. And how does the 8-year-old feel about your travel schedule?
Actually, this last week was rough. So my grandmother, my wife's mom just passed away. We just had the funeral on Monday. Okay. So Monday was the funeral. Tuesday I was traveling home. I was at Masters last week. Okay. And then she tells me on Tuesday, she's Ginger. She's like, I need you. Can you just stay home this week? And I'm supposed to be at Vision, right? And I'm supposed to be doing all this stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I'll be here. So I canceled everything. I moved my flights to Friday, and so I could be here. And flew out yesterday and got here late last night. And my son, though, as I was leaving, I went into his room. I tell him every time I leave, I don't care if it's 3 o'clock in the morning, flying out. I go into their rooms and I just tell them goodbye, even though they're sleeping. Right? It's just a thing that I always have done. And my boy goes, my 8-year-old goes, "I love you, Dad. Come home soon." And it's like, this is what I do, and he knows. They all know how much I love doing what I do. But it's like, he's got a basketball game this morning, and we're running the vendor show. And I texted my wife this morning. I'm like, please call me on the way to the basketball game, and I'll, So I got to tell this story really quick. Okay. So last Saturday, I'm in master's class. Okay, and I'm teaching and I'm presenting, and I told her, I'm like, call me so I can go watch Adam's basketball game. He's my 8-year-old. So she calls me. She's FaceTiming me. She's watching the game. He comes, throws the ball up, catches it, hits the ball. It hits her phone, and it goes and it tags her in the face. Okay, while I'm FaceTiming. Okay, and I'm in Atlanta, Georgia, and they're in Grand Junction, right? So now she has a black eye from the phone hitting her in the eye, and we had the funeral on Monday and all that stuff, and she had this big old black eye, this shiner, So anyway, it's just the sacrifice that comes along with trying to do things remotely, right? So anyway.
I had a call last night. I left the lobby bar early just because I was tired. It was a travel day.
Yeah.
And I was I called the house to check in on the kids. The reason I got here late was because 2 of my 3 children are in a theater troupe, and the premiere of this season's play was Thursday night. So I went to their play Thursday night, and I've traveled here Friday. And so they, it's every night for a little while. And so I called them, and they were getting out of theater, heading home. It was like 10 o'clock Eastern or 11 o'clock Eastern, whatever time it was.
Yeah.
And my 12-year-old was really upset about something. After the play, he was fine. And then during like the mob where everybody's congratulating everybody and giving flowers and all that kind of stuff, he comes back and he's upset. And my wife's like, he won't tell me what's wrong. He says he doesn't want to talk about it. And, it was upsetting her because she was worried that there was something like a bullying situation or what. She didn't know. And so she handed the phone to him, and he was like, I want to tell you about it, but I don't want her to know about it. And I was like, oh. And then he said, why do these things always happen while you're gone? I wish you were home more. It's like,
yeah, it's hard,
man. But I mean, he gets it when things are good, but when things are bad, you want to be there for your kids, right?
You do.
So, and for what it's worth, I'm really proud of him because he's at that age of life where he's starting to notice that there are cute girls out there. And he worked up the courage to approach the girl he had a crush on and talk to her.
Awesome.
And she shot him down.
Hey.
It's his first missed shot, right?
It's all right.
And so it upset him. So it's that first moment of rejection, right? And so I really hate that I'm not there to kind of be like, bro, let me tell you some stories about me getting shot down. You know?
Yeah.
But the courage to do that. I mean, I certainly didn't have the courage to do that at 12 years old. That's for sure. So
Yeah.
I don't know if I should be worried or.
It's a good thing, you know? Well, but I mean, that's part of the game of life is falling down and getting knee bumped and then figuring out what you can do next time to make it better.
Yeah.
You know?
That makes me want to call him.
Yeah.
I'm going to call him after we.
Well, that's the takeaway, though, is that we just do the best that we can.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, we still got to do what we are drawn to do, what we're passionate about. But you got to make sure you still take the time to call him and FaceTime him and talk with him. And like I'm going to do in a couple hours here when it's Adam's basketball game, I'm going to get back on FaceTime again. Hopefully the ball doesn't hit her in the head. But, you know, it's one of those things that still got to be involved the best we can. I mean, when you get home, though, you got to make sure you're there 100%. You know, you're in that phone, and we've talked about this, 11 and a half hours per day is what the average person is spending on the screens per day. That's crazy.
11 and a half hours.
11 and a half hours per day.
How many hours per day do you think a person is awake? 17, 18?
I have no idea. I'd have to look. I really don't know.
So the majority of their waking hours, they're in front of a screen now.
Yeah. So think about that. I mean, I'm not talking about just phone time. Well, yeah, see, Braxton's over here on his phone. But I mean, the thing is, you got this phone right here from this computer is also in that screen time. Your TV is also counted too.
Yeah.
So 11 and a half hours though, but that's time that cut an hour out of that and devote it to your kids. Mm-hmm. Be there and playing that Monopoly and not in the phone, but actually be there with them. That's what's most important is when you got that quality
time.
Does
it count if I'm crushing them on Mario Kart?
It's still time together.
Yeah, it's time together. It's screen time for both of us.
Yeah.
But as long as I'm destroying them.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I wondered about that because my kids and I love playing too. I mean, it's something we really enjoy doing. But I was wondering about that the other night. It's like, is this really the best use of my time? Because I'm not getting eye time with them. There's some crazy stat right now, and I don't remember. I got to look it up. But it's like the average kid has less than, I don't remember what, 7 minutes of FaceTime with their parent a day.
Yeah,
that's crazy. Because the parents on the phone, the kids watching screen time, whatever it is, and they're not getting that eye time. So anyway.
Yeah. Did you ever let your kids win at games?
Or, the first one, no. And now he's so competitive, and he's always trying to beat me. And it's like I realized that I screwed up. The second one, I let her win a little bit more. She's my daughter. She's my sweetheart, And so I let her win a little bit more. And she's not as competitive as the oldest one is. Because I always just stomped him,
Yeah, I try to, whenever there's competition, I just try to crush their spirit, regardless of what it is. So it might be, Amanda doesn't play board games with us anymore.
Right.
She just goes and does her Bible study or something when we're in there, flipping tables over and yelling at each other. So
it's good.
It's nice, healthy behavior.
It is.
Some people raise their children to be Eagle Scouts and get them a Jeep that they then have to work on. And I just destroy the psyche of my children with board games.
Yeah, you teach them other things,
It's the same thing, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
It's not the same thing. All right, so one of the things that I always do is I ask for a confession. Like, this is the confessional. Bless you, shop owner, for you have sinned. Anything that's happened recently at Barney Brothers or a story from the past about something that went terribly sideways and how you changed the business so that didn't happen again.
We could be here for, 3 or 4 hours. I mean, my life is a walking mistake. I really believe. I learned it from, Einstein, or not from Einstein, but I'm drawing a blank here. Edison. It's like, guy. I mean, yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, but I mean, you fail so many times creating a light bulb, right? And that's part of life. We're always going to continue to fail. If we don't fail, we're not taking chances.
He succeeded 10,000 times at finding a way that didn't work.
Yeah,
Is that what
exactly. Yeah. And that number varies. And I actually went to Menlo Park and toured that to see where he worked at. It was a fascinating place to go see. But I really believe that if a life without mistakes is a life not lived, because we've got to go out and push ourselves to be the best we can be. So, this last 2 weeks has been a blur with everything that's been going on. But I've screwed up lots. I think the biggest thing for me is just being more personal with people, especially my employees, because I hold them to high standards. And it's like, I want results and I want to get things done. And I forget to be a human being. In fact, some of my team will be like, Darrin, remember to be a human. And I'm like, oh, yeah. Because I just am like, okay, so where are we at? It's like, well, how was the funeral? And I'm like, it was fine. and I just automatically get back into, well, what do you need help with? Let's go. Let's get going. I've only got so much time. And so that's my biggest thing recently is I got to remember to be more human and actually care. Because it's not that I don't care.
Yeah, you care.
I mean, I think about them at 2 o'clock in the morning, right? And you wake up and you're just like, oh, dang it. I wonder how things are going. Crud, he told me about it. He had this with this going on with his son, and I forgot to ask. I remember it then, but during the day, it's like, man, I only got so much time. Let's roll.
Yeah.
So I got to remember to be more human and just be nice and just care. I mean, because I do care, but it's just like, you got me for a half hour. Let's make the most of this, But to make the most of that to somebody, it may mean that we're just like talking about the dog not doing well. And they had to go in and get injections in the dog's knees, and me bulldozing over that and going, okay, where you at with this, and this? So, I mean, for me, that's the biggest thing. I got to be more human.
I feel like it's, not to generalize, but I feel like I can be that direct and not get drugged down in those other things that are important, right? But when I'm at work, it's time to talk about work.
Yeah.
But there are certain employees that I have to sit back and say, how was your weekend? What did you do? Yeah. How'd the game go or whatever it might be. And then there are others where it can be like, you good? Great. What are our issues this week? Who's off this week? What problem customers do we have this week? What problem cars do we have that we're dealing with? So I think that comes down to knowing your team and knowing the style of communication that connects with them as effectively as possible.
Well, that's true, but there's still emotions involved. No matter how much of a non-emotional, logical person they are, they still have emotions. And so that's where I realized this last week. I'm like, I got a guy that works for me that's just an incredible driver, and he's just one of those results-driven people, but yet I haven't talked to him about personal stuff. And it's like I can tell there's stuff going on, and that wall is there because, once again, I'm getting results. He gets results, and we're good together, but there's some other stuff going on, and I got to be that human again so that he can talk to me.
I think, like for me, I need that also, right? But it has to be at the right time and in the right setting. Like, if I'm in my office at work, I'm not going to talk to you about my personal life. Yeah. I don't have time for that shit, right?
Exactly.
So it's like, for me, it's like, let's go get a beer after work.
Right.
And then we can decompress a little bit, and we can turn off that I hear a phone ringing and it's rung 3 times and should I be answering it? And so it's time and setting matters for that, for being able to relax and open up about a conversation like that.
But you only have so much time in the day, and that's the hard thing is it's like,
and I'm already spending 12 and a half hours on my phone.
Right.
So
no, not just on your phone, but I mean, you want to get spooked. Look at your screen time right now.
Yeah.
It's like, wow. And that's time that is just wasted not connecting with somebody that's right in front of you.
Right. So look at your screen time. See what it is.
Oh, you don't want to know.
I'm going to look. I'm sure it's terrible.
I can tell you.
Does it give you a report? I turned the report off because I didn't want to know.
Oh, he won't tell you then if it's off. Yeah, you won't know.
My daily average for the last 30 days is 9 hours and 33 minutes just on this.
Yeah.
I set it up and like play TV shows and stuff. So I mean that counts, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, today it's only like 15 minutes. It's also 7 a.m.
Yeah, that's great.
So,
yeah. 9.5 hours. I mean, but think about that though. I mean, that's crazy. But could that time be used connecting with somebody?
Yeah.
And just being that human being, because we're here to help each other through this journey in life, right? I mean, and it's just
All right, so I asked you for a confession, and you talked about communication. I want to know the last time you set a car on fire in the shop.
Probably my own. I was working on doing a lift kit on a vehicle, and it was on a 4Runner, and I had to torch something because the bolts were rusted, and some things caught on fire. So it's part of
the
life,
last car to be set on fire in Carfix was my car.
Yeah.
It's the crispy fried Miata. It was that old junker Miata that I bought for my son and I to tinker on, and I think one of the guys, I got in over my head, and I asked one of the guys to replace the injectors for me. And it did not go well. But it made for a funny security video that we clipped and saved. And you see, it's a big open shop. It's 10 bays, 5 on 5.
Yeah.
No dividing wall in the middle or anything, so everybody can see everything. And it lights, and the guy is like, whoa, and he just stands there, and everybody else is just kind of standing there. One dude takes out his phone to get a picture, And then the two people in the building who actually take action, one's as far away from the car as could be in the building, and he grabs a fire extinguisher that's right next to him, and the shop foreman comes out of the parts office and grabs a fire extinguisher that's there, and they converge on the car at the same time. And so it burned for like 15 seconds, right? That's a long 15 seconds when there are 8 other people standing there. One guy takes a casual sip of his coffee while he's watching it burn. Like, guys, come on. I guess just frozen in the moment, or just they knew it was my car and they just thought it was funny. I don't know.
Yeah.
So could have been a lot worse,
Yeah.
But anyway.
So so we you do have the chargeable
Yeah.
brake clean, and so it's really fun to swap the brake clean with the carb clean. And I have a guy that likes to set stuff on fire, and so then he just grabs his thing and puts it out. So I actually charged his green can with the red stuff, and so that way when he went to do it, it flamed up, and so he doesn't light stuff on fire anymore because it was funny because he kept squeezing it more and more, and the brain was going through fight or flight, and he's just like trying it, and it's going whoosh, and it's like, okay, hey, Ted, step back,
You're lucky he
man.
didn't blow up in his hand, bro. So
I shouldn't admit that on, but yeah.
I mean, we all had shenanigans in the shop when we were younger. We used to get strings of the firecrackers and light them and throw them under the bathroom door. There's like a 1/2-inch gap in the bathroom door. It was the worst, man. When you're the victim, it's the worst. When you're
not a good time.
But one victim and 10 dudes laughing. So
Yeah, I know.
what are the
Yeah,
odds,
it's part of the fun,
So,
right? Yeah.
yeah. We probably should not start a tradition of talking about shop shenanigans.
Right. That was years ago that I did that. I would never do that now. So
Yeah, of course not.
Yeah, no.
He would never do that now.
Yeah, no way. Yeah.
So, sorry, I got to remember to stay up close to the mic. I'm sorry, Braxton.
Oh.
Um,
Is this better?
I know that I typically
How you
ask, where's everybody going for training this year and investing in your team? I can ask you about training your team, getting training for your team, but I would imagine that it's different than the training that we get for our teams. Like, do you send them like speaking, like class on how to be an engaging speaker, that kind of stuff?
Of course. Oh, yeah.
Where do you find that kind of stuff?
Oh, man. That's what I've been involved with for years. I mean, so yeah, there's a lot of good training that we like to have people go to.
What do you think about Toastmasters?
Toastmasters is awesome.
Really?
I went to Toastmasters. Yeah. It's really good.
I've considered that for my son, actually, and I would go with him, right? Because he'd be painfully shy to do it without me.
Yeah.
But you know what Toastmasters is? It's like a weekly group of people in business or in life or whatever that get together, and everybody makes a 1 or 2 minute speech every week. And sometimes it's about a topic you know nothing about. Sometimes you find out about it right before you do it. Sometimes it's a prepared speech.
Yeah.
I think each week 1 or 2 people has a 5 to 10 minute prepared speech, and then they get praise for what they did right and feedback on ways that they can improve their speaking style, cadence, ums and ahs and ers,
all that stuff.
I think Carm Capriato actually has a Toastmasters group that meets online for automotive industry people.
That's cool.
So Craig O'Neill.
Craig O'Neill.
Craig O'Neill is the host of that for Carm.
It's Toastmasters is great. Okay. Anything you can do to push yourself out of your comfort zone is the way to get better at speaking.
What else? How else do you invest in training for your team?
A lot of online courses. We do book reads. That's one thing we do every week. Is we do. Like right now we're reading 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, and then each week everybody has to report on it, and so. I
know that that's an incredible book because I hear about some. I've tried to read Covey multiple times, and I find it really hard to read.
Listen to it on Audible.
Yeah, that's fair. Audible is my brain candy escape. I listen to like sci-fi, space sagas, aliens, time travel. It's really ridiculous, the stuff that I listen to on Audible. But anyway, what leadership books are you investing in for yourself this year?
Book wise, goodness,
or Audible, or podcast. Obviously, there's one podcast that you're investing in this year.
Oh yeah. In fact, I listened to some episodes this morning. So
I'd like to apologize for my language.
Yeah, no, it's all good. Yeah. No, it's all good. I don't have specific. I mean, I could show you my list, but I think Radical Candor is the next one on my list.
All right, let's rewind. Let's say that you get a time machine and you go back and you talk to
Purple
Darrin.
Judo.
You talk to Darrin 20 years ago, and you can't have a conversation about all those things. You can say, read these 3 books or 2 books or 1 book or whatever it is. Like for me, like How to Win Friends and Influence People is the first one on the list.
Yep.
But what else is there on that list for you?
Think and Grow Rich.
Okay.
I love that book. Yeah.
Okay.
I really like Psycho-Cybernetics.
Psycho-Cybernetics?
Yeah, by Maxwell Malt. He's the guy that Brian Tracy, Tony Robbins, all of the big guys, I'll credit his book for giving them their ideas.
What's the author's name?
Maxwell Malt.
Maxwell Malt.
It just talks about the power of the subconscious and how to harness it. A great book. A lot of people are like, they don't, it's like so basic, but it's about a plastic surgeon that was trying to figure out why he would go in and operate on some people and they wouldn't be happy. So they come in and they got this, cleft palate, whatever it is, and he goes in and he fixes it and they're still not happy. And he tried to figure out why that is. And then it led him on this journey of figuring out steps to help to improve human beings.
So, are you a tangible paper book person or
Both.
Okay.
I do Audible and books.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have an e-reader?
No.
Like a tablet? Okay.
No.
So-
No, I've been looking at one of those ones. In fact, I'm in a coaching group for CEOs, and a lot of them are all using the ones that you write on now.
The Remarkables?
Yes, I know. And the guys at ProService are all using them too. And I'm
Yeah,
like, gosh,
yeah,
darn it,
yeah.
I got to get into this.
They have a color Remarkable now, and it's still not a backlit screen. It's just like colored pencil type coloring. And it makes a big difference being able to color code and take a red pencil and circle and underline, that kind of stuff is pretty neat.
That's been on my list to check out. I want to get one of those.
It's a gadget.
I know.
It's cool. Some guys
But I love writing.
it.
I write every day. I write in my notebook, and I write every day, and I'd love to be able to just have it in that rather than stacks of notebooks on my wall.
Are you a journaler?
Yeah.
Can never get into it. I hear it's great, like cathartic.
Well,
Like
that's where I haven't been that good at it.
Okay.
And so I write every day, but it's about goals and things like that. And so wouldn't it be cool? So do you follow music?
No.
Okay, that's all good.
I listen to music, but I don't, I'm not a musician.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's all good. But Jimmy Page, right, a guy from Led Zeppelin,
Okay. Yeah.
he is posting stuff of the stuff that he did during Zeppelin in his journal entries. And I was like, how cool is that to be able to look back at 1968 and they played here at this hall and it was a great show and all these details. For us to be able to look back at that posterity thing, we're talking about, again, leaving your legacy behind. I'd love to be able to have my kids, rather than stacks of notebooks of goals and connect with my kid type stuff. It's like, it'd be nice to be able to have a little bit of insight into what Dad was going through at that time.
So one of the cool things that my wife is doing is she invests in a really nice Bible with a custom leather Bible cover, and then she uses it for 3 years, and she does all of her sermon notes and everything, and all of her prayer journal notes and everything in the margins and in the areas that are appropriate. And she's trying to get 3 years and one for each kid so that she can give them to the kids. And it's a pretty neat practice to go through and to have them have that a window into where Mom was in her spiritual journey at that point in her life. So I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's just, there's something to be said about having leaving that legacy, though, for people that want to know.
I'm fearful that though the margins are just full of, God, please help Mike stop being such a dumbass. Just constantly, just repeat it over and over. She's a saint for putting up with shenanigans. Right? So yeah. Well, cool. What are your 3 goals for today?
3 goals for today is to connect with people, and that's the number one. And then I really want to inspire my audience to take changes and take action when they get done with my class. And then the third one was to connect with you today. Make sure that we had a good podcast, man.
Sweet, mission accomplished.
I know, right?
Just mark one off the list, brother.
Yeah,
right. Yeah. What time is your class today?
3 o'clock.
All right,
3 to 6.
I'll reconnect with you this evening and ask how it went.
Yeah, sounds good.
Cool.
Yeah, cool.
Thanks for coming on, man.
Thank you. Thanks for letting me be here.
Appreciate it.
Of course.